helped plan my cousin's wedding, skipped buying work shoes to afford a gift, then discovered she spent my money on a dress and sneered about it to her friends. I still can't believe this happened, and every time I think about it, my jaw gets tight all over again. My cousin Jenna got married last summer, and I was actually happy for her. We weren't super close, but I helped her with little stuff for months. I picked up napkins for her shower, I drove her mom to the florist, and I even spent 2 nights helping fold programs in her living room while her little brothers kept running through the stacks and messing everything up. So when the wedding came around, I made sure I showed up looking nice. I bought a navy dress, got my hair done, and wrapped up a card with a cash gift inside. It wasn't a huge amount, but it was more than I could really spare at the time. I had skipped buying myself a new pair of work shoes that week just so I could give her something decent. The ceremony was pretty enough. Nothing fancy, but it was sweet. I clapped, I smiled, I took pictures of her with her new husband, Dan. Then we all moved to the reception hall, and that's where things started getting weird. There was a seating chart by the door, and I noticed my name was at a table in the far back by the kitchen. That would have been fine, except the table had 2 empty chairs and a pile of folded linens on one side. I figured maybe they were still setting up. I asked one of the ushers, and she just gave me this polite little smile like she didn't want to deal with it. When I got to the table, I saw my plate didn't have a place card. The other people there were Dan's coworkers, and they all looked confused too. One guy actually got up and said, "Sorry, I think we're at the wrong table." A few minutes later, a server came by and told us the kitchen needed the space clear for trays. So we got moved again, this time to a tiny table near the restroom door. The music was loud, people were laughing, glasses were clinking, and I kept trying to ignore it. Then Jenna came over in her sparkly reception dress, all smiles, holding a drink with both hands. She looked at me and said, "Oh good, you made it." I said, of course I did, and asked if she wanted to say hi to my mom, who had driven in from out of town. She waved me off and leaned closer. In this fake sweet voice, she asked if I had seen the bartender yet. I said no, why? She looked me up and down, then said, "Well, you should have dressed a little better if you wanted to be in the front photos." My face got hot. I just stared at her, because the dress I had on was nice, and it cost more than I wanted to spend. Then she laughed and said, "I'm kidding, don't be so sensitive." She reached out and touched my arm like that fixed it. I could feel my hands shaking around my water glass. I was already upset, but then my mom came over and quietly told me something that made me see red. She said she'd just heard Jenna bragging to her bridesmaids that she used part of the gift money to cover the last-minute cost of her second dress, because Dan's side didn't contribute enough. My stomach dropped. Not only had she talked about guests' gifts like it was her backup plan, she had the nerve to trash us behind our backs for not being flashy enough. I looked over and saw Jenna laughing at the center table, her new dress glittering under the lights. She had this smug little smile, like she had won something. My ears were ringing. I didn't want to make a scene, so I took my purse, found Dan near the dance floor, and asked him directly if the gift money had been used for the dress. He looked shocked, then embarrassed, and said he didn't know it had come from gifts. He actually apologized to me right there. That was enough for me. I set my napkin on the chair, walked out of the reception hall, and called my sister from the parking lot. She was furious when I told her. 10 minutes later, Jenna texted me asking where I went, because it looked rude to leave before the cake. I didn't even answer that one. I sent her a message saying I came to celebrate, not to fund her wardrobe or be insulted at my own expense. The next day, her mom called me and tried to smooth it over, saying Jenna was stressed and didn't mean anything by it. I told her stress doesn't make you steal from your guests and then sneer at them. I asked for the money back, because at that point it was the principle of it. A week later, Jenna mailed me a check from her own account with a note that said sorry for the misunderstanding. Not sorry for using the gift money. Not sorry for insulting me. Just sorry it got exposed. I cashed the check, but I never forgot it. And I never went to another one of her family events again. Some people treat weddings like a reason to act entitled, but I learned something that day. If someone thinks your kindness is just part of their budget, they don't deserve it. If you like this story, then follow us for more.